What you're about to listen to is a Bry-Fy production.
Yo, it's Bry-Fy coming live through your Wi-Fi. One-man show, but I'm feeling like a sci-fi. Comic books, video games, catching them all. Pokemon card stack, yeah, I'm ready to brawl. From Marvel to DC, I break it all down. Nifty nerd news, got the geeky rundown. Pop culture hits, movies and shows. I stay in the know while the fandom grows. So plug into, not press play, let's go. This is the Bry-Fy, baby, welcome to the show.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Bry-Fy podcast. I'm your host, Bry-Fy, your comics guy, and welcome to episode 138 of the Bry-Fy podcast. Not too much to talk about. Got a couple of nifty nerd news items, and then I think for the most part, that's pretty much it this week. I got a new comic book that I'm trying to read, and I haven't finished it yet, so can't really talk about it. Anywho, let's talk about... Oh, yeah, that's right. Let's talk about Comicpalooza coming at you June 20th through the 22nd in downtown Houston, Texas at the lovely George R. Brown Convention Center. Well, it should still be lovely. I think right now it's kind of underwater. It is June 12th as I'm recording this, and the southeast of Texas has just been hammered with a crap ton of rain. Now, it will subside definitely way before the time Comicpalooza comes around, but it's always kind of funny when it rains quite a bit, like more than an inch an hour in Houston. It gets crazy. Things flood. It turns into Waterworld. It's scary, but what the good thing is about Comicpalooza is it's all inside the George R. Brown Convention Center. So come rain or shine, we're going to be able to have fun and have a great time. And you know, it's kind of like the George R. Brown is like the Noah's Ark of fandom, man. Like, you know, like no matter if it's raining and flooding, we can all pile in there and have a good time and wait it out. That's a good, the Noah's Ark of fandom. I like that. Comicpalooza, you can have that. Well, like, I mean, give me credit or something. But anywho, speaking of Comicpalooza, man, things are heating up. I'm getting so excited. We are a week away, man. We're like a week away from Comicpalooza. So the countdown begins, man. What, 7 more days? And then it all starts. I'm super stoked. I hope you guys are too. And if you're still not sure like how to plan your weekend or your day, whatever you want to go, especially like if you're only going for a day, you really want to plan it out and have a good idea because you want to be able to check out vendors, you want to be able to check out some panels and things like that. Well, go to comicpalooza.com. One, stop there and get some tickets, but 2, stop there, go to activities and schedule so you can see what's going on each day of Comicpalooza. I know that's what I do. And if you already have an idea of like, hey, there is some things I want, you can go to the search bar and you can search the schedule and find those things for you. Like, say you want to watch Bry-Fy podcasts, type in Bry-Fy in the search bar for the schedule, and you'll see Saturday, June 21st at 1 p.m. is the Bry-Fy podcast Treasure. Is it trash or is it Trevor? Trash or Treasure, the Mythical Mothers edition. That's going to be at the Podcast Pavilion stage. Oh, where's that at? Well, you can click and on the Podcast Pavilion stage. Oh, that shows you everything that's there. There is a map though, so you can look up everything and like see where it's all located on the convention floor, which is really great and really awesome. Also, you can look up, I don't know, maybe let's type in Matinee Heroes or Cast Off, and you'll see also on Saturday, June 21st at 8:30 p.m. in room 304, it's going to have Bry-Fy again. So, yeah, you'll get a chance to see me twice this weekend performing or being involved in panels. Of course, both are on Saturday. One's at 1 p.m. at the Podcast Pavilion, which is on the main stage floor. Typically, it's by, I believe it's to the, if you're like looking in at it, like coming in from the entrance, it's to the right, typically between Artist Alley and the Celebrities. So definitely, and I believe it's near the Texas Renaissance Festival booth, which can help and hurt depending on what's going on. Sometimes they do big raffles and they get very rowdy and loud, and it can potentially take away from what you're doing. But sometimes there's a big draw because a lot of people go over there and they get involved with what you're doing. Because I had a little bit of both with the last year I performed there, where they were doing a raffle, so a lot of people were paying attention. But as they were waiting in line, I was kind of interacting with people while I was doing my live podcast, and I could see some laughter. I could see some like people having some fun, and actually some people came and sat down to hang out and be a part of the Trash or Treasure from last year. So I'm hoping to get some more of the same this year. And then, of course, the other cast off from Matinee Heroes will be looking at, well, there's two parts to it, but I'll be part of the Andor season 2 part where we recast the show, or certain actors from that show, talk about and see who wins between me and my opponent on who has the better casting. So I'm pretty excited. I like the guys that I came up, well, the people, not guys, they were girls too, the people that I came up with to try to outsmart or outcast my opponent. We'll see what happens though. But yeah, so those are the two things that I got going on this weekend. There's tons of other cool stuff. Like I said in another podcast, I can't wait to go to the Retro Game World Series and just get the chance to play like old Halo, and there's other kinds of fighting games and stuff. So it's like going, like when you were back going over to your friend's house to go play on his GameCube or his Xbox or the N64. Like, they have tons of cool retro games to check out. So Comicpalooza, get your tickets now, June 20th through the 22nd. Be there or else. No. But that's all that I got about that. Thank you guys for hanging around this much. Let's get into the nifty nerd news. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in to the Nifty Nerd News section of the Bry-Fy podcast. First, it looks like Marvel Comics fans are having a bit of a tweak out, man, because in a recent issue of Black Panther, it turns out T'Challa has a son that's challenged him for the throne and beat him for the throne. But that's not really why they're upset. Why they're really upset is because when he takes off his mask, it turns out he's got blonde hair, blue eyes, and is very, very much a white person. So, like, what does this mean? People are confused. Some are saying, or I think in the comics, it's turning out that he's half black, or I don't know. Well, he obviously has to be if he's T'Challa's son, right? I don't know who the mom is. I think they say it in the article. She was someone that was introduced, Monica Lynn. The comic reveals that T'Challa fathered Katema, who's his son, with his early love interest, Monica Lynn. But when I look up Monica Lynn on Google, she is also, well, one, she's an Instagram model that pops up, but two, she is a very black character as well. At least that's what it looks like to me when I look this up. So I'm kind of confused, and I think a lot of other Marvel people are kind of confused. Not saying that T'Challa can't have white kids, you know. He can love the white woman and the Mexican woman, and he can have all kinds of, I mean, he's a king, right? He could have all kinds of kids that we don't know about. But people are, I guess, because now, since he's taken over the throne, he's also taken over the mantle of Black Panther, which, is it weird for a white guy to be the Black Panther? It could be, but it's the same sense of, like, anyone, I guess, could technically be under the mask, like Spider-Man, you know. And there's that one issue where famously he's like in court with J. Jonah Jameson, and he's like, "You just hate me because I'm black," and then it becomes a real race issue, and Jay's like trying to really walk back. Whoa, 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 whoa. So, like, I don't know. It's really interesting how, and like, this isn't like where the movies are going right now, because obviously in the last Black Panther movie, we do see the son of T'Challa, and he very much shares the same pigment as Helm. Not saying they can't just rewrite it, because, you know, comics and movies and things like that, like, anything could happen, right? It's interesting. I will say this. I'm not one to really jump the gun and be, like, extremely upset. I don't really have knee-jerk reactions. I am more curious on, like, how did we get to this point? Like, what happened? Obviously, there's going to be story there, right? Because it's just kind of revealed, like, oh yeah, I'm your son. I beat you. And guess what? I'm white, Dad. Like, obviously, T'Challa knows, right? Like, or unless he was held in secret. I haven't read the issue, so I don't know exactly what's going on, right? I just know his son challenged him, won, took off his mask, blonde hair, blue eyes, white skin. Comics people erupt, and not in the good way, in a volcanic way, if you will. But like I said, I'm more of the person to try to wait and see, like, what kind of story are we trying to tell? Because this is like issue 1 that this came out, right? Issue 1, I mean, yes, some comics live and die by the issue, right? But I'm more willing to give a comic book 3 to 5 issues to kind of flesh out that first story arc before I'm like, yeah, I'm done. Like, I can't do this. So I'm curious. Like, I'm more curious than I am upset, because it's weird. Don't get me wrong. Because like I said, unless they changed Monica Lynn and like the Marvel Now stuff and everything that I see on Google is an Instagram model or is a black comic book character, or a very black passing, if you will. So I don't know, man. Like I said, this is just weird, but I'm going to kind of sit back and wait to see what this story is going to entail. So yeah, I don't know. Moving on. So sticking with some Marvel news and Marvel movie news this time, it looks like Thunderbolts has lost millions of dollars despite having actually really good reviews. But so what does this mean for Marvel? And honestly, to me, I think, and I've said this before, Thunderbolts is a step in the right direction. I don't care how much money it didn't make. That was a good movie. I really enjoyed Thunderbolts a lot. I enjoyed the characters, the cast, and the story of it all. I loved it. It was a smaller story. It wasn't super CGI based, kind of boss fight at the end where, oh yeah, we're just going to fly and shoot lasers and people. Like it. I mean, yeah, there was some flying and there was some CGI stuff, but it felt like a very self-contained and small story, a personal story, really, a human, like a human type story, maybe like superhuman, but like a very human story where it wasn't like, oh, like the world's at risk, or, well, I mean, I guess potentially the world was at risk because the Void was a terrifying villain, but like it was not so much we got to save the world, it was we have to save this person. And I mean, we've talked about it, so we have to save Bob is what it was. And Bob is, of course, the Sentry, and the Sentry has 2 lives. You know, there's the Sentry and then there's the Void, and of course the Void takes over at some point, and the Thunderbolts have to work together to save the Sentry and save Bob and bring him back from the Void. And so I just thought it was a great story, man. I'm hoping Marvel doesn't, and Disney don't look at the monetary side too hard with it, because yes, it probably took a huge loss, or I don't know. Look, it's made $371 million globally, which is still a butt ton of money. But I guess when you put in advertising, paying the cast and everything else, like, yeah, that's a loss, right? But I don't know, man. Like, I think we're still basing everything off of like, since Avengers and like things making $1 billion, and then Black Panther making $1 billion, and Endgame and all that $1 billion. But like, not every movie can be $1 billion, right? Like, you're gonna have to have some lower budget things, and I think what we've learned and what Disney has learned recently is just trying to chase the money and just put out pop culture references on video format is not what's really going to cut it, man. People are going to lose interest. People are going to get tired of what you're doing. And so I think taking the time to make a movie like Thunderbolts was a great idea. And I'm hoping, based on some interviews that we've read and we've talked about on the podcast in past issues or episodes, that this is the route that Marvel's going to take now. Like, hey, let's build that trust with our fans of making good movies again, and they're gonna come back out in droves to support us. I mean, because I think it was getting to the point where they were just counting on the fandom, regardless of the quality of product that they were putting out. And they started to see that. They started to see the groaning and the grinding of like, man, like this isn't looking good. Plus, DC is having a rebirth. I meant that. DC is not rebranding, but they're restarting their whole universe. I mean, one, most of their actors are aging out, but two, like their first iteration really of DC didn't have a great direction, and now they've reset everything and they're rebooting everything to give it a better cohesive direction, which is good for DC. But I think Disney might have seen that and been like, "Row, we need to fix our shit now, so that way we can still compete when DC becomes a lot better." And so hopefully that's what we see. But speaking of DC, so talking about the new Superman, which I think is out now or just about to be out now. Zack Snyder was not going to go with the Superman trunks. Like, we see it now. Like, Superman has the outside underwear, has the trunks, man. And James Gunn, and I saw this in an interview too, thought it looked silly, thought it looked dumb, and just couldn't justify in his brain a reason to have this. I mean, you look at Zack Snyder's Superman, it's like the solid suit or whatever. And, James Gunn said he talked to Snyder about it, but it was funny because it was actually the actor David, how do you say his name? Cornsweet, I think. He actually convinced James Gunn to keep the classic look, man. Maybe it's not like the briefs version, but it's like boxer briefs, and it kind of works, man. And like how they explain it, it kind of makes actual sense, and maybe that's how it made sense to James Gunn, is because of how it was explained to him. Was like, look, man, everyone in this universe, in this version of Superman, knows that he's an alien. Everyone knows that he's from outer space, that he has these crazy powers, that he can shoot lasers out of his eyes, he can leap buildings and faster than a locomotive, all that stuff. And that's terrifying, dude. Like, he can use his super breath and destroy buildings, like that is terrifying. So like, how do you make that person seem more humane and less terrifying? Because Superman wants to be a humane person. He wants to be seen as human, and he wants to be, liked by people. Like, the shorts are kind of funny, and like it won't scare people because they're like, well, this dude wears like underwear on the outside. Like, it was kind of like explained that way, and like it kind of makes sense to me, like, because he's Superman. He's so self-aware with what he can do as a super being, and he realizes that he is scary, man. Like, but he wants to be a symbol of peace. He wants to be a part of like these kids in the public and play around and show them like, hey, I'm here to help and things. And he does, like, you can't do that if you're a terrifying alien. But if you're a dude who wears boxer briefs on the outside of your pants, maybe you're a little more approachable. Maybe not. I don't know. Like, I wouldn't try it in public, but I think with someone like Superman, it kind of makes sense in a comic book way. Plus, they're going for a more comic book accurate thing, and what we've seen from Marvel, regardless if you're trying to just justify this scientifically or in your head canon, right? But we've seen from Marvel, the traditional suits work. The traditional suits are what people want. It doesn't matter how you get to the traditional suit. It's just that you have the traditional suit, the one that people are used to seeing in the comic books, and we like that. So yeah, I'm excited to see that. I'm probably going to be like one of the first DC movies I openly really want to go see is Superman. So I can't remember if it's out in theaters right now, but definitely need to go check it out. And the last bit of nifty nerd news, since we're talking about DC and movies, James Gunn also said that a Wonder Woman film is in the works, that it's being written currently. It's not in production or like movie film production or anything, but it has begun the process of being written, which is good, man. We want to see how this is all going to play out. Of course, we want to see a Batman 2 and all those things. Not a Batman number 2, but a Batman also. And I mean, we've heard that, I was going to say Edward, the guy who played the Batman. Why am I blanking? Robert Pattinson. We've been told that his version of Batman is not the version of Batman going forward. So it'd be interesting to see who they recast for all these things. Maybe they go with Robert Pattinson. Maybe they convince him to take all that money, which I honestly would be a great idea. Like, look, if Warner Brothers, Disney, Marvel, DC came up to me and was like, hey man, you're going to be this like comic book character and we need you to sign this contract for like 10 movies. So, you're guaranteed work for like 15, 20 years, right? I mean, like movies take a year or two to do, right? So like, hey, why don't you do, we'll say some song, 5 movies for $5 million or whatever. Like that's guaranteed well, I mean, I guess their lifestyle, like I live in a way different financial world than these people. So 5 million is like, so, but they're offering like 100 million, $500 million for these people, right? But so I'm just saying, Warner Brothers, Marvel, I'll do it for way cheaper. Look, I'll play the garbage man. Like, I don't care. I just need to make a minimum of like a 6-figure. I need 6 figures a year. That's it, right? Like that. I'm asking for the bare minimum. Anyway, that's all that I got for you guys this week for the Nifty Nerd News. Thanks for staying tuned. I don't really, man, that's kind of it, dude. I don't really have much to talk about. There's not really much more going on in my life. Just gearing up for Comicpalooza. Like I said, it's coming June 20th through the 22nd. My wife has actually talked me into, and I finally built up enough courage to cosplay this year. I mean, I've done like a half-ass Brock cosplay, but this year I kind of wanted to put some effort, man, like doing some work with foam, doing some like iron-on image and things, and I have more than one cosplay planned. So if you see me, just know I'm going to look a lot different than I did last year. Well, I'll be dressed a lot different. I'm not going to be wearing like shorts and a t-shirt. I'll be dressed up this year. I'll probably be pretty sweaty based on the 2 outfits that I picked, because both characters wear a jacket. And I don't know if that was very smart of me, because Houston in the middle of June, or ass end of June coming into July, is extremely hot. It is the 12th now, and today where I live, it was 92 degrees with like 90% humidity, and I thought I was going to pass out. So I can only imagine what it's going to be like. Hopefully they have the air conditioning on full blast at the George R. Brown Convention Center. If you want a clue as to who I'll be cosplaying as, check out all my social media. That's at Bry-Fy Podcast, Bryfy Podcast. And you can see I posted an image of a little bit of the 2 costumes that I'll be wearing. And if you can guess it, well, you get internet points, because I don't have anything else to give you. But so definitely some things to look out for and check it out. Who knows? Maybe I'll give out some stuff for the convention. I should give out some things for the convention, because that would be fun, right? That's a fun thing to do. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining in for the podcast this week, and we will see you guys next podcast is going to be the Comicpalooza podcast, because that's next week. So next week will be delayed a little bit. I'll try to do some daily stuff so that way you guys can check it out and see what that's all about. But other than that, next time we talk, it'll be Comicpalooza, guys. So I'm really excited. I can't believe it's almost here, dude. 7 days. 7 days. You're going to be nerdy in 7 days. Anyway, thank y'all so much for listening to the show, and we will chit-chat with you guys later. Bry-Fy out.